And this is Sri Lanka Report number 6. So what happened since last time? Well, I went to spend the day in Colombo, the capital, and to see what the city is like. And it's a very, very different vibe than rural Sri Lanka like this. I'm constantly amazed walking around the villages here how many shops there are. You could have a village that's really quite small and it could have 3 or 4 shops. Capitalism is absolutely thriving here, not corporatism. People have little small businesses, and it's much better than the corporate system because people have control over their own destiny. And the villages are so interesting too when you walk around them. They're almost like continuous, endless ribbon development of lanes and alleyways. Like one village leads into another, leads into a town, and so on. And they're very walkable. They're very safe. They're very, in a kind of a tropical way, romantic. And so that I did that. And this morning I went to a kindergarten, sorry, Montessori, that a friend of mine has been sponsoring. They've been around 15 years, and the kids are absolutely beautiful. They all have these big eyes, and they're like really well behaved. And this Montessori has absolutely nothing. It started from like a building that didn't even have proper doors and windows. And the staff that work there are women who have dedicated their lives to these children, in that they're not interested in anything else, and they're not interested in jobs in the cities or working in colleges. They're giving their lives to these children, and it's the most beautiful thing you can imagine. And in the classroom where all the kids are sitting down, well behaved, there's the shrine on the wall with Buddha and Ganesh, and it's just, the kids were so nice, and it was just such a lovely thing my friend is doing there. But I then went to a store in the nearby town, and I bought 10 meters of white cloth, like I told you yesterday, that it's going to be a gift to a monk, which I'll go on later on tonight, that will give to the poor, the ones who can't afford white cloth, which is what they use for religious festivals in the Buddhist part of the country, so that they give that to the poor. So that was like the astrologer told me to do yesterday to offset a hex. I thought it'd be kind of funny because I said that yesterday before I went out, and I was kind of like, I was coming back from Colombo last night, and the traffic is just unbelievable, and I was dying to go for a piss, so I went down some alleyway in some Muslim area, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't this be some shit if ISIS got me and beheaded me after I said that? I don't know why going around for miles, but I don't give a shit. I'm not bothered by those things. And so Colombo itself, the city is undergoing, you could see how it was once very beautiful colonial type city with Dutch and Portuguese and British and other Chinese and Indian and other their own kind of like classical architecture. It's all being replaced by massive developments. A whole new port is being built by the Chinese, and skyscrapers are flying up all over the place. In a few years it will be indistinguishable from Shanghai or Hong Kong. So it's obviously the Chinese and who's ever investing in the Americans are here to stay, and see Colombo as a major port like Singapore for international trade and also finance and digital commerce and things like that. The highlight of yesterday evening, though, was we went to a hotel, an old colonial hotel by the water, by the Indian Ocean, and just sitting having a few beers and watching the sun going down. And something really beautiful happened. Just as the sun was about to go down, as it was finally reaching the ocean, which was a gorgeous sight by itself, a bagpiper, a Sri Lankan guy and another soldier came out, and the Sri Lankan soldier was wearing a kilt, like a Scottish kilt, and playing Scottish bagpipes, but he was playing an Irish tune, Carry On. And then they went to the flag, they marched slowly to the flag and lowered the flag, and there was people from every race, religion. There was Muslim women in the full burqas and Muslim women just the scarf. There was Chinese, there was Buddhists, Catholics, Protestants, Westerners, Asians, Orientals, everything. Atheists, a lot. And they're all there watching this beautiful ceremony as the flag is being lowered as the sun is going down over the Indian Ocean. And I got really kind of like welled up watching it, because it showed me how multiculturalism, it doesn't have to be what they're pushing on us. People will find a way to live together. Now, I know there are problems in this country with sectarianism and everything like that, but you do see how trade brings people together. And I've often said this. I've never had a problem with anything to do with skin colour or ethnicity. It's always been the religion, and I'm just as much terrified as fundamentalist Christianity as I am of fundamentalist Islam. But that's it for me. I don't really care about anything else. And it showed that it is possible through things like trade. When I say trade, buying and selling, and you even see that in my country, in Dublin. You go to Moore Street and Parnell Street, there's every race on earth and every ethnic group and religion, all in shops, all trading and working together, and including still loads of Irish, like working class dubs who still run stalls selling fish and vegetables, among Africans and Asians and everyone else. And it does work, and you saw that on the Lower East Side of New York and a place like Brick Lane in London. The thing is that the problem is that that people should be allowed to trade on a microcosmic level, rather than being at the fortune and at the whims of massive corporations through corporatism. That's unnatural trade, unnatural capitalism. But regular capitalism, when you see it in action, is a beautiful thing, particularly in a multiculturally diverse society like you have here in Sri Lanka. And so it gave me a lot of hope. It gave me a lot of hope for the future, that, you know, maybe if we ignore the governments and the corporations, we can actually live together. Look, I'm not bothered. I like multicultural. I like the fact I can get access to different things. It's always only been religious fundamentalism that has frightened me. And like I said, I'm just as disgusted by Catholic nuns throwing babies into septic tanks as I am, you know, jihadists beheading people. I see no distinction. I see no distinction between the bond secure nuns at Tuam and the Islamic State. I don't see any. They're the same. They're the same. And when you realise that, that's when you start knowing that paganism is actually the way out of this. And any country should have a constitution. It should always be secular. It doesn't matter. I'm 100% in favour of a secular constitution. So it is true that travel does broaden the mind, although I kind of already knew this, but I didn't think it would affect me as emotionally as it has. Maybe it's the sunshine, maybe it's the lovely people I'm meeting, maybe it's the lovely fresh food I'm eating, but I definitely am in a zone that's very agreeable with me as a person, and I will carry what's happening to me here for the rest of my life. Now, I've uploaded also, with this video, should come up around the same time, a visit to the Bank Katua megalithic site in the center of the country, that those of you interested in megaliths will find very interesting, because you will see that it looks so similar to the megalithic sites you have in Ireland, and yet they're on the other side of the world. So again, these mysteries are unfolding. These things are being pulled out slowly. I want to know about the spiritual heart of all human beings and the ancient soul of all human beings, because there, I think, is the common denominator that will undo all the bullshit that's been foisted upon us by globalism going forward. See you later.